Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forge Lines Forever. Today, I have a 3v3 ladder matcher on the most amazing Roxas map generator. Let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting off with Team 1 in the Northeast, also known as the Red Team, ending with Team 2 in the Southwest, also known as Blue Team. Starting off with Team 1's orange, the color orange player in the Northeast, it is Sains Rowe going first land as a Cyber, and he is a 1357 rated, and again, he's going first land. Traveling southwest, we have Zapod going first land as a UEF in Chevy Crimson. He is a 1309 rating. And last but not least for Team 1, it is Master of Seasons going first land as a Seraphim in Ruby Red. He is a 1340 rating. And to remind everybody, 1357 is the highest rated player on Team 1. That is Sains Rowe. So for Team 1 side of the map, they have a Seraphim, a Cybran, and a UEF, which means they lack Aeon technology. Starting off with Team 2's Regardosa player in Amethyst Purple, it is Sailor Moon going first land as an Aeon. He is a 1420 rating, the highest rated player on Team 2 and in the game overall. Traveling northward, we have in Royal Blue, Hannibal going first land secondary as a Seraphim. He is a 1319 rated. And last but not least for Team 2, it is Alexander Berlin going first land, second land, third air. He is an Aeon, and he is a 1374 rating in Stitch Blue. So for Team 2 side of the map, they have 2 Aeon and a Seraphim, which means they lack Cyberin and UEF technology. Team 1 lacks Aeon technology. And for 6 players on the map, let's take a look at the reclaim that they have to scoop up. It is only 4,000 mass per the map, not per player, which means per player it's about 700 mass, so not really a whole lot. It's really kind of scattered around the map. Most of it is towards the middle of the map, technically the southeastern section of that map. But a lot of that obviously is obscured due to the fact that there is a large portion of water in the northwest corner of the map. That might be a huge point of contention for both players, or both teams, I should say, due to the fact that there is a way for Navy to get to the main bases of everyone in the game. So both teams have to be very cognizant of what goes on in that northwestern corner. And for mass point layouts, let's look at Team 1 side of the map. They have a Quad Mechs, another Quad Mechs, and a Tri-Mechs. That's pretty much it for their side of the map. They have a couple of mass points in the middle, very reminiscent of the mass layouts in the middle for dual gap. So instead of them looking like this, they obviously in dual gap are like this with, again, more mexes over there kind of thing. And a couple of mexes in the southeastern corner. Not really a whole lot. Some water as well. I don't see really any investment going into that. Maybe some hover run-bys kind of on the edges of the map, but I don't really see that happening anytime soon. And with that out of the way, let's go ahead and see where our players are moving to. I have sped it up just a little bit because it is a 3v3 ladder, so it's nice to get kind of the early movement. It's a long time for players to get up and running, get their their ecos and all of that, actually walk to the center of the map. And it looks like Team 1's Master of Seasons has started to push southwestward, trying to claim the mexes on that northwestern shoreline. We do see, of course, the other players on Team 1. Sains Rowe, I want to say Saints with a T, the popular video game franchise. And Zapod moving on the eastern side with Team 2's Sailor Moon moving eastward, and Team 2's Alexander Berlin moving down the middle of the map. And one of the players on Team 2, Hannibal, getting into the Navy a little bit. We do see another player on Team 2 going into the Navy, that being Alexander Berlin. Team 1 has not done so as of yet, but they are starting to, outbound from Zapod. So we'll see if the Navy proves to be a lot more fruitful for Team 2, or the land engagement proves a little bit more fruitful for Team 1. Looks like Team 2 is being a little bit more defensive nature. They're not really pushing so far in to the middle and other side of the map. There are a couple of just kind of scouts running around, and a Tham just going after some engineers. Not really a huge issue there for Team 1. More of an annoyance than anything else. That Selena almost got reclaimed, but was able to fight that reclaim off with some assistance of that Tham. We do see engineers have been dropped off by both teams in the upper plateau for a couple of mexes. Again, the issue with this position is because this area is not really landlocked. It's very hard to navigate. This doesn't really do a whole lot in the sense of there's other games, especially the one I casted a couple days ago, where the middle plateau had such an a widespread effect on the middle of the map. This position here, because it's so landlocked, yes, you can get some artillery on the other side, and yes, you can get some missile launchers, but you're not going to really prevent any land incursions because it's even hard to do a land incursion either way, no matter what. So mainly this position, in my opinion, should be more of an air base, more AA, denying air. Maybe those missiles and artillery, but not as much of a focus, that sort of thing. But we are seeing some calm-on-cam action here at 6 minutes between Alexander Berlin and Master of Seasons. Master of Seasons able to drop Alexander Berlin into the middle yellows and continuing to push forward. He is going to be stopped by a T1 PD, but that is really going to curtail Team 2's efforts in the middle of the map, with Master of Seasons being able to be a little bit more aggressive now that he knows that a calm is in the yellow. Gun speed has been started here for Alexander Berlin to try to assist in defense, and then Master of Seasons is just going to reclaim on his doorstep, just saying, hey, how's it going? And is just going to sit there and now deal with those fervors that have popped up to shoot at him. But now he has to deal with an incursion from the western side over here from Hannibal. So now he has to retreat and deal with this now, so we'll give a little bit of a break for Alexander Berlin in that middle lane-ish. We do see in the east a pod over here, but again, Team 2 isn't really focusing at this avenue, so a lot of this effort from Team 1 is not necessarily wasted, but it's not as instrumental as other efforts would be on, let's say, the middle of the map or the western edge of the map, or even just the Navy. As we see, multiple subs are online moving to the northern shores of Team 1. There is a frigate online, and we do see a nice Team 1 torp launcher, so that will be able to deal with one of the subs that will be coming in soon, and the other one that will follow it. Nice little defensive measure there. Love that planning from Zapad. Doesn't want to get sub rushed, and given the amount of time it takes to travel to the other side of the map, I mean, you deal with a couple of units, more units will arrive at some point, but it does give you a lot of time to either produce your own subs or just spam up some torp launchers. And that gun upgrade is going to finish. He might actually just cut through the middle here. He can go through there. That is possible. It's going to be a little tight fit for that really bulky UEF commander, but I think he should fit. And we see Hannibal in the water, kind of just acting like a little shark, waiting for his opponent to pop into the water to strike. He isn't a Cybran, so he can't build the torp launcher on board his chassis, but he can, of course, go for the very tanky nano gun and regen comm. So he's going to go for gun first, which is definitely typical of pretty much every faction in the game, besides the play of going for T2. It's either T2 or gun, or it's gun then T2 if you're on the front lines and you want your position to be secure. It just depends on how aggressive you want your comm to be and how many factories you have nearby. Artillery raining in, going to deny that Mechs. That's going to really annoy Master of Seasons. He's going to come in with his own land army to deal with that. We do see Alexander Berlin with that gun, speed / range. I have to make that distinction every single time, not only for myself, but, well, maybe just for myself, because it's either gun speed and range, gun damage and range. And when I say gun speed and range, those are 2 upgrades for Aeon, except, obviously everybody else has 1. So I have to make that a point. And it does look like with that gun upgrade, it will allow Alexander Berlin to exert a little bit more force on the middle of the map. And Master of Seasons is going to retreat into the water, probably go for his gun upgrade. But he will be pushed soon by Hannibal's comm as well. So it's going to be 2 gun comms on this northwestern shore. The comm of Saints Row, going to have to really emphasize the Saints instead of Saints. He's going for his T2. He might build some PD on the shoreline. He might build for some zappers or maybe some AA. They are getting raided a little bit by some T1 bombers. There are some interceptors nearby. So not really a huge issue there. But that bomber will be shot out of the sky, unfortunately, for Team 2. And still, the Aeon comm is still pushing northwards, that being Alexander Berlin. The other Aeon commander is down here in the south. That is being Sailor Moon, going for some PD. Just to secure this position. He isn't pushed so far to the southeastern corner. Again, a lot of it is landlocked, so land engagements are difficult for the player incoming and the player outgoing, being going into the section and going out of the section. Looks like Team 2 has staked a claim for the middle of it. Couple of PD and a radar system. Definitely as much as you probably need here. That GunCom will be able to push through it nice and effectively, but Team 2 will know about it when he does push in. So it's again one of those nice little early warning systems. I love this artillery play. Unfortunately, the artillery didn't really do a whole lot because the PD was still able to shoot it. And artillery pushing in the middle as well, taking out the PD to allow the units to come in unannoyed. And now we see Alexander Berlin making a walk down for Master of Seasons comm. Looks like he wants some revenge from earlier, but now he has to be aware of some Ilshis that are online for him, so has to be very cognizant of being overwhelmed very, very quickly. He can pop into the water, which he probably should right now, and he is going to as I speak. And he will be dropped into the red. It just matters if he pushed too far in. Let's see. Will he make it? Will he make it? Oh, he will not. Team 2 loses their first player at 11.5 minutes, or almost 12 minutes, and that being Alexander Berlin, defeated by Master of Seasons. He went a little bit too greedy, and the Ilshis were a little bit too much for him, and that was his demise. It is now a 3v2 in favor of Team 1, that being being the red team. Blue team is down here. And T2 Navy is online for Team 2. T2 Air has been online for a little bit, now going for T3. Team 1 also has T2 Navy and hasn't gone for T3 Air yet. They probably, I was going to say they probably will go for it now, and the upgrade has been started. Torpedo has been started here for Saints Row. And we do see some T2 Pseudo Navy coming online here for Master of Seasons to assist in measures in that regard. Without having to build a facility, just build some hover tech in that regard. But Hannah below, facing down Master of Seasons. It is a gun comm versus a non-gun comm. And Hannah below can see him, so there's no hiding from Team 2 for Team 1. But he does have a rank inventions versus, well, it does have a rank inventions as well, so not really a huge discrepancy there. That was mainly due to those Ilshis that Hannibal was able to kill. He only has 7 kills versus the 19 that Team 1's comm needed to get to 1-star veterancy. And still no efforts by Team 1's Zapad to move anywhere towards the middle. Looks like he will start shifting in that direction. But I feel like that should have happened at least a couple of minutes ago to put a lot of pressure on Hannibal and Alexander Berlin in the middle of the map. I mean, due to the fact that he didn't push in, Alexander Berlin felt confident to push forward and he was killed off, so maybe it did work. But he could have done a lot more work in the middle in really, again, forcing Team 2 back a little bit farther and not even having the chance of having Master of Seasons being taken out. Fleets looking like they're being built up by both teams. A lot more T1 for Team 2 and a nice destroyer online for Team 1. There are a lot of subs here, so something to watch out for, but the nice range will be able to engage those frigates quite advantageously. Sub v subs here. Gonna obviously favor Team 2, but it depends on how much damage. And the comm of Saints Row gets dropped on top of that frigate. Gonna try to essentially hot drop on top of those torp-capable subs. And Saints Row goes, I'm just going to push with my more powerful torpedo. And he's going to be a little bit more of an annoyance here for Team 2. The torp defense is strong enough to deal with those. Though, unfortunately, the comm is essentially nullified for the time being. But he is going to get a nice little sonar system. Just to get some vision, or not some vision, sorry, some sonar in the water. Essentially the radar form of on land. It's just under the water. T2 coming on, is online, pumping out some destroyers here. Those not Salem, but the Seraphim class destroyers. The Uashavo? I think it's Uashavo. Anyway, again, Seraphim name's very hard to pronounce. And we do see stealth coming online here for Saints Row here. Going to be able to try to, again, tie up this fleet. But there is a nice destroyer online. Will force Team 1 at least a little bit back and forth. The second one not coming into range. We'll give a little bit of time for Saints Row to go for that stealth upgrade. He'll probably go for Nano immediately after that. Because why not? Why would you not go for Nano at that point? Especially if you're a Cybran. You would just naturally go for that. And essentially not really a lot of development in the southeastern corner here for either team. Both teams kind of staked their claim, and that was it. The only really movement in a positive direction for either team is Team 1's Zapad. He's going to be, again, running around this little cliffside, valley side with a couple of plateaus surrounding him. He is having some reinforcements come in through that little cut in the mountainside. The Team 2 has to be really wary of that. But again, they have to walk through one and then another one. And Team 2 is definitely going to know about that before day's end. They know where the commander is, who's not hiding anytime soon. And again, more fleet up built for Team 2. Going to make another attack for that commander, or just possibly just the fleet in general. We do have more destroyers online for Team 1 and Team 2, of course. It does favor Team 2. It is 3v2, but there is that comm with the torpedo launcher on board. And so that will definitely augment those forces. Nano has been started for Saints Row, so he's going to go for Nano anyways. So almost like you heard me from the Beyond the Grave, the Ether, the Void, whatever you want to call it. Kind of like, I don't know, the Ether, the Void makes it feel like it doesn't, there's like, the Void essentially means nothing. And the Ether, at least, there's something there. You just don't really know what it is, but there's something. Maybe I like Ether a little bit more than Void. Let me know down in the comments if you would prefer, or if you prefer the Ether or the Void, or from Beyond the Grave, because it just, I guess Beyond the Grave means I died or something, so maybe not that. So either the Void or the Ether. I think I favor Ether a little bit just because of, I don't know, I feel like there's a lot more like science fiction, science, like, not science fantasy, but like kind of those mystical elements in Ether. There's even in COD Zombies, it's at least Cold War that mentions the Dark Ether specifically. But COD Zombies wasn't, the Cold War Zombies wasn't too bad. I felt it was too, it kind of gave you a lot more in terms of trying to complete the Easter eggs and all that stuff, instead of the other games where it was very much you had to seek out for it. I mean, there was a couple of instances of like turning on, you had to turn on the power, and there was some references throughout the mission, throughout the levels about like how to complete, but it was very much you had to work it out, you had to figure it out. The game just didn't give it to you, essentially, which I felt that Cold War definitely did. So I wasn't a fan of all of them. It was kind of cool to go to back Nactor and Toten in the first Cold War Zombies, but the Outbreaks, I didn't really like Outbreak particularly. It kind of felt like you played Firefight from Halo, those kind of modes where you kind of just run until you can't go no more. I wasn't really that engaging in my opinion, and it was, I don't know, it just wasn't as enjoyable, I think, as the typical round-based zombies. But anyway, my zombies rant and discussion out of my mind. We do have Saints Row getting a lot of torpedoes to the face, so that's not going to feel good. He is dropped into the yellow, and those destroyers and frigates have been able to force back the ones from Team 1, so Team 2 leading that destroyer war quite nicely. And now all the focus is going to go on Saints Row. Looks like he, again, pushed a little bit too far forward. Of course, Team 2 can't see him, so there's no escape. And we have torpedoes based on both the destroyers and the subs. And this will kill off Saints Row. There he goes. There is no escape. All of the subs around him are killed off in that explosion, but the destroyers are fine. Team 1 loses their first player at 19 minutes and 15 seconds. It is now a tied-up game at 2v2 players remaining. And I think the first team to shift to T3 might have the advantage. Team 1 definitely has that advantage in terms of T3 tech with the Neptune, which I will always say is one of the best, if not the best, naval units in the entire game. Not counting experimentals. Those don't count. Those are experimentals. They are Navy. Some of them are Navy, but I don't. The normal lineup of what can be built. The Neptune battlecruiser is, I think, by far the best one in the game because imagine the destroyer for the Seraphim, except more beefy, more annoying, better range, and it's like you merged a Summit. It's like a Summit and a T2 destroyer from Seraphim had a baby. That's what would be the Neptune. You have the lasers, but you also have the beefiness of the Summit. It's not as HP heavy as the Summit, but it's really good. We do see a huge attack outbound from Master of Seasons down the middle of the map. Team 2 has a nice little hole in the middle that Team 1 has now exploited. We do see Sailor Moon building some Team 1 PD to try to curtail this. Those Ilshis coming straight for this base, which does have some PD here. But not really a huge issue there for Team 2's defenses. Those Ilshis actually being carved up pretty quickly here. A couple of PD were built. And some artillery took one of those PD out. But unfortunately, this base, it may take some hits, but it's going to be fine. We do some assistance outbound from Hannibal to close the wound. Team 1 has taken the advantage and claimed the upper plateau there. But realistically, not really a lot happened. A PD has been taken out. They're targeting, I think, the TMD, I think is what's going on. Is there some TMLs nearby? Yes. Outbound from this is Master of Seasons going after some T2 Mechs. They're going to build some TMD immediately to counter that. And Mechs was also killed up, but not really a whole lot was lost. Looks like not Sailor Moon, but Sain's Row saying there's a TML, which I don't know if he's saying TML this or what, but there is no TML here, so that's not going to really work. There's some TMD. And some Ilshis to the west here for the main base of Team 2's is Hannibal being attacked a little bit. Does have some blazes online, so not really a huge issue, but those blazes are actually just leaving. So that's never what you want to do, and just on the front line, leaving Ilshi to run around and take out your mixes. Not a good thing. Looks like there's been some attacks through the middle here by Team 1 against Team 2, but Team 2 has it up. The radar being the most important thing that Team 2 has access to over here. There's a huge portion of the map, and especially a map of this size, having to see essentially about a quarter of it. It's pretty good. See, obviously in terms of radar, not necessarily in terms of vision. Team 1 only has that ability in the Soothsayer, but Team 2 also has Aeon, so they have the Eye that they have access to. And that Ilshi finally dealt with, killed off another Mechs. Could have actually killed off probably these two, but wanted to probably go all the way around. More destroyers being built. Still Team 1 Navy here for Team 2 in terms of Aeon. So it's mainly using the Aeon forces as the bullet sponges, and actually the cannon fodder, not bullet sponges. And then the T2 being the main driving force, and the Seraphim Variety Commander, says Alexander Berlin. Marketing Team 1's commander of Master of Seasons. That is the wrong team. And a little ping there just to say, hey, there's something that was there. And both of the commanders have been spotted by Team 2. Nice little Air Force online here for Master of Seasons. Team 2 doesn't have that much to really fight that. They do have some for Sailor Moon, but not that much. Talking about 15 versus probably 30. Hey, look at that. Exactly 30. With 7 interceptors bingo on field. Obviously, talking about ASFs, not interceptors. Well, we have some Bulwark mobile shield boats online here for the UEF fleet, and it is Aeon and Seraphim versus UEF. Essentially, the quote-unquote alien designs versus the more, obviously, human designs. A lot of them obviously look like beefed up World War II vessels, which is, gives that human aesthetic. But there's some kind of non-standard designs, the Bulwark being one of them, of course, with a nice little T2 shield on its back. I do find it very entertaining where the developers just took already existing assets, scaled them down, and just stuck them on ships. You see the Galaxy have this with its zappers, or the Aeon, Omen, that's what it's called. The Omen with its TMD. And I think the Summit also has it too. I would assume that the battleship for the Seraphim also have their TMD. Because I think all of them do. I can't remember. But even on the cruiser, there should be, the Sea Tactical Missile Defense. There's a tiny little buzzkill. I think it's a little bit different. It's very similar, but it's not exactly the same. But it's pretty close to be fair. And we do see fight in the middle here. Team 1 having the advantage, but the Navy now coming into the shoreline, being able to use their weapons, of course, to be able to inflict casualties on Team 1's land army over here. The destroyer is actually sitting back here with the frigates, kind of just sitting on the shoreline. There are a couple of destroyers in range. The laser weapons do not miss until they move targets. Then they do miss, but besides that, they never miss. The accuracy is essentially 99.99999%. and projectile weapons obviously can miss and do miss. You can see the engine's just chewed up by those laser weapons. Not really getting any work done with those, unfortunately. We even see some blazes coming to assist, so definitely not the best engagement here for Team 1, and now another group of units still sitting here for Zapad, and they're all pillars and some strikers, so they could be sent forward, but probably not worth it at this point in the game. Actually, at this point, it's probably just worth it to take out the radar and call it a day. And at 25 minutes on the clock, let's take a look at the game overall. Both teams have lost a player. Team 1 has lost Sainzero, the Cybern, and Team 2 has lost Alexander Berlin, one of the Aeons. Team 1 sitting at almost 500 mass income. Team 2 at 430. So Team 2 a little bit behind, but they are leading the naval fleet, I'd say, in terms of strength. In terms of numbers, it's a little bit favoring Team 2, but it's starting to shift in Team 1's direction. Obviously, that's going to be helped by the T3 naval headquarters, which is building the Neptune. So there is going to be that to be considered. Team 1 is also leading the air game as well. Obviously, that's due to the increase in mass production. But of course, let me know down in the comments what you think is, who you think is going to win this game. And if you haven't done so already, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and of course, thank you so very much for watching. And thank you, shout out to all of you who have watched the 1.25k subscriber milestone video. It's a really good Phantom match. Highly recommend watching it. There is something in that game that I have never seen before. It was probably just a glitch. It was actually the thumbnail of the video, so if you go look up the thumbnail, you actually see what I'm talking about. But it was very weird seeing that. So go ahead and check it out. And again, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for all the support and time and attention you give to my videos. I really do appreciate it. And again, let's go ahead and see what happens with the game. We do see a nice squadron of gunships inbound here from Team 1's Master of Seasons, going after the fleet that doesn't have a lot of AA protection. And this is going to rip through Team 2's fleet. There are a couple of cruisers, but not a lot of them. And those whalers are going to get tons of value out of them. You can see them coming into the flak. That's never a good thing, but they are targeting the cruisers specifically. You always want to shoot the things that are shooting at you and then shoot everything else. ASFs from Team 2's Sailor Moon come in, but that was just a pretext for the ASFs from Team 1 to engage, and there it goes. Going to just steamroll all over those ASFs for Team 2, taking out both of the cruisers as well. Well, actually, there's one back here. But they've really forced back Team 2's fleet, buying a ton of time for that Neptune to come online and make its way to the front of the action. Fortunately, the pathfinding is a little annoying to deal with. But the last of the whalers has been destroyed, but Team 1 has air dominance. They have at least over 50 at a minimum. They have 59 versus the essentially maybe 4 that Sailor Moon has. Oh, sorry. Yes. 7 Spectres, 8 ASF. So not 4. But again, the discrepancy 50 plus. Tons of torp bombers now online. So it cleared the way for taking out all the cruisers, or at least most of them. Now here come those torp bombers inbound. Those cormorant bombers, not really the best thing you want to be on the end of. And here they go. They are outbound, going for all the destroyers and the cruiser, I would imagine. And there they go. The torps have been released, and that fleet is being ripped apart. We even see some AA ships kind of just shadowing those bombers. There's not a lot of AA remaining here, and that fleet will have to disengage. But the bombers not actually going after the cruisers, surprisingly, going after the destroyers. And a lot of those bombers actually get taken out very quickly here, just due to that one cruiser remaining. That's, of course, due to the flak. The cormorants aren't really, they only have less than 1,000 hit points, so not really a lot of hit points to survive. And just some interceptors coming in just to help, being escorted by some ASFs. So something, of course, is better than nothing, but there's only so much you can do. We do see that Neptune shielded by a bulwark, so the secondary fleet has arrived with a beefed up Neptune. Once that gets in range of all those units, that's not going to be a fun day here for Team 2. Team 2 does not even have T3 naval headquarters online, so Team 1 has that huge advantage. And they also have a Monkey Lord online in the middle. Has been spotted by Team 2, but they don't really have anything to fight that yet. I don't see any chicken or Colossus production here for Team 2. They're still fighting the naval war in the west. Chicken almost online here for Team 1's Master of Seasons. So 2 experimentals could punch a significant and almost brutal hole and devastating hole in the Team 2's infrastructure and backline. So Team 1 has to be very cognizant, or Team 2 has to be cognizant of that. Team 1 has to be cognizant of they have an advantage. They need to use it while they have it. Because the longer they wait, the better Team 2 will be prepared for it. That is one of the most hardest things to determine is when is the time to strike. You strike too early, you waste all those efforts. You strike too late, you waste all those efforts. It's all about where and when to strike, and that just comes from having intel. And vision always helps, but just intel in general, gathering it, constantly having some spy planes over just to constantly survey the environment. We do see a Colossus, I must have missed it, under construction and finished here for Sailor Moon. So one monkey and chicken versus a Colossus. The Colossus will lose. Unfortunately, monkey will most likely be killed off in that engagement. Gunships over the top of that monkey. Annoying, but the AA on board the monkey isn't too bad. All of the ASFs just barrel down after those gunships. Team 2 are going to lose those quite instantly, especially the being T2 Spectres. If they were restorers, still they would have been destroyed like that, but it would have been a little bit more of an annoyance to deal with. And with that Neptune online, you can see it's just exerting firepower and pressure into the Navy. And those dual laser cannon weapon systems on board are just devastating. They are very, very devastating. I think there's also a direct fire weapon as well. I think it's that little cannon up the front, I think. No, wait. No, they have TMD. Maybe that's not the TMD, is it? No. I mean, it's too big. It could be the TMD, but I feel like that's too big to be TMD. I don't know. Yeah, I can actually probably just look it up. So they have an anti-missile defense. They have a dual barrel plasma cannon, a smart charge anti-torp, and angler torpedo. So yeah, that must be the TMD. Huh. It's pretty big TMD, to be fair. In terms of, I'm talking about like the asset size, the cannon size, not necessarily the capacity on board. The Colossus is able to stand onto the upper plateau and laser some Mantis moving around. The monkey and the chicken have arrived and teamed up to face off against that Colossus. A lot of T2 support down here. All of this support should be immediately funneled to assist the two experimentals barreling down Team 2's doorstep. And some nice Transcender T3AA is going to be coming online. That actually should be stopped. It's going to be destroyed by that monkey here pretty shortly. Team 1 thinking they have the advantage, pressuring the attack against that Colossus. They know a lot of T2 support does exist. T3 lands, not really being that much of a presence here for Team 2. Team 1 as well. There's some T3AA, but besides that, not a lot of T3 land. I mean, we have Cyberns. We can see some bricks. We see, obviously, Authams. We're Team 2 and Team 1. A bunch of stuff that could be produced, but neither team really focusing on that. It's mainly just the Navy and Air and a couple of experimentals. But the Blazes come in and will crush that monkey very, very quickly. The monkey, like I said, would die in that engagement. The chicken, I think at this point, initially needs to full send it against that Colossus. Colossus has dropped into the mid-yellows. The chicken is still alive for the time being. We see some T1 bombers assisting as well. All of the Blazes actually get behind the chicken. The Colossus will die, as I said, but it's going to be very close. Once the chicken kills it off, there it is, rank efficiency for it. But it will be killed off here by the rest of these Blazes. ASF's over the top here for Team 1, trying to clear the skies out, but that chicken is dead anyways. And there's the Iron Storm going to kill off a decent amount of those Blazes if they don't get out of range. Some T3AA that Team 1 is fighting over. And Team 2 will now have air control. I would not say dominance. The numbers do not favor that. We're only sitting about 30 or so dominance isn't really there. But Team 1 not only lost both experimentals, but lost the air fight. Very crucial here for Team 2 to capitalize on that. And they have, some more ASF obviously in reserve, but not really looking good here for Team 1's goals so far. T3 Navy has been established. Those nuke-capable battleships are coming online here pretty shortly. Another battlecruiser and another one. Team 1 is pumping those out. And maybe we'll see a shift to summits. No, still battlecruisers. It's starting to be a deadly amount of those. Crab also online. Oh, okay, there is a summit over here. So they went summit and then switched back over. One battleship versus 3 battle cruisers definitely will favor Team 1, of course, with the battleship coming into range here shortly. And all those battle cruisers need to do, those Neptunes, just get into range of that Hathum, and they'll just blitz it down. The Neptunes have the best DPS in terms of naval combat in the game, not excluding, I think that's not excluding T4 experimentals. I might be wrong on that, but I think in just straight T3 all across the board, Neptunes reign supreme. What they lack is the range and obviously hit points. So having essentially less than half, and this serial a little more than half, but in terms of the Summit, a little less than half than their Summit big brothers. You know, you can see the Hathum able to shoot at it at range, so the Neptunes have to get into range. Once they are, then it definitely benefits the Neptunes, but they just need to get to range first. Yeah, so fire a missile on a missile so I can watch the team. I hear the TMD, the buzzkill. I just don't see it anywhere. And it must be coming from those Neptunes. It's the only thing that makes sense. The cruisers would also have them, but I think let's see any cruisers on. Oh no, there's one. There's TMD. They see it's on the back there, so I mean I don't know. It's very similar. Anyway. We see another land engagement here between Team 1 and Team 2, but Team 1 having the advantage with the chicken and more presence. Lightning tanks online. This is what should have been here with the chickens the first time. It would have ripped apart all the ASFs, at least for Team 2. Colossus now standing on the wreck of the monkey. Colossus in chicken fight, but Team 2 has already scooped up the rest of those wrecks besides the monkey lord. So the mass starting to favor Team 2 heavily. We have seen that shift in the game. I didn't mention it, but again, Team 2 sitting at a little bit more than Team 1. Obviously, those numbers do fluctuate with power generation and all that. I think, no, both players are fine with that. I think it's just the mass income from the reclaim. But one chicken versus one Colossus definitely will favor the Colossus, of course. This does more damage. But the chicken, of course, does have the Ion Storm. It just needs to get in range. 60,000, 50,000, again, 30,000. It may look like the chicken's doing more damage, but it's just due to the fact that the hit points favor the Colossus, so the bar is definitely a little obscure of that. You can see already in the red. Chicken will get pretty close to that Colossus. I think the Iron Stone will be close enough. Second Colossus does arrive, so that first Colossus is saved. And, of course, the veterancy on board will give it 10% more hit points and some more regen. The Neptunes have now started coming down on Team 2's doorstep. So while Team 1 is losing the Navy, losing the land game, Team 1 is kind of winning the Navy here. Hathum does go down. The shield boat's obviously being able to obscure a decent amount of damage from said artillery. There is that megalith. Once that pops out of the water, be able to inflict a huge amount of damage. But those Colossus moving in to try to use their lasers to defend. So why bother with building any Navy when you can just put some giant boys with some lasers on board to go after said Navy? It looks like the Navy is actually retreating at the moment. You can see them moving into position on that shoreline. Probably not the best place to land your ASFs, though. Some shots could come in, but another Hathum goes to the bottom of the depths here. But more of them coming online here for Team 2 as well. Making sure no one dies. I heard some explosions somewhere. And that crab, they're just waiting. They're just waiting for a move. We see you. We're waiting for you to engage. They don't want to get into the water because of the torpedoes, but yeah, they're like, we can see you. We know where you are. It's not like we're blind. They have vision on the megalith. The only thing that would obscure it would be cloaking, but if it was in omni range, they would see it anyways. So those Colossus now getting their feet wet. I don't know if that's going to be a great idea, but we'll see. The naval fleet moving, and once again, they actually, I think, just waited the Colossus to get out of range and then went, we can engage now. If Team 2 went for Tempest, that might be enough to crack this fleet, but there is a donut and a nuke online and almost loaded as well, so Team 2 starting to try to end the game. See, Team 2, there's a decent amount of air difference. We're talking about 75 ASF versus Master of Seasons 112, so it's not really that much of a discrepancy, but the donut will obviously help with that. The donut is coming inbound, though. The Megalith goes, nah, I don't want to be on the end of that, and not with a lot of AA as well. Team 1 needs to get some more AA online because that's going to hurt very, very quickly. Or just send the ASFs in. The ASFs have been called in. The fleet is going to try to lead the donut away to where Team 1 has control of the Navy. And then we're going to be able to, again, draw in the reclaim. It does look like the Tsar will start to retreat. ASF fight will engage. And will it just sit with the ASFs? Yes, it will. And the ASF fight obviously will be won by Team 1. The numbers definitely favored that. I don't think all of them will. Oh, no, that is all of them. And this is the engagement that they want. Activate the laser sooner rather than later. Oh, the laser was not activated, so a lot of those ASFs took no damage. And that donut does land on Team 2 shoreline, so that is something to think about. And the Megalith going after the T1 naval factories to curtail the amount of just fleet that's coming online for Team 2. Of course, the T3, sorry, that's T2 and T3 facilities are fine, and T1 torp bombers are being, torp launchers are being built to obviously prevent the incursion of the Megalith. But still, the now missing valuable assets of those cannon fodder definitely will encourage Team 1 to push in again, especially with the Neptunes, the summits coming online. Is there going to be an Atlantis somewhere? Possibly, maybe. I don't think so. But Nuke is outbound. Where is it going? It's outbound from Team 2, going for Team 1's position over here for that SMD. The SMD is going to load. There it is at the, not necessarily last second, but that was the secondary SMD that was built. Team 2 probably already knew that, so that's why they targeted that position. Yep, that already been spotted. That Nuke will be shot down. First one of the game will be shot down. Definitely unfortunate there. And it's not going to look like really good things for Team 2. But Team 1, or, I mean, both teams kind of, you know, wanting to use nukes. We see Master of Seasons has that as well. But Team 2 going to be disappointed, and the SMD did shoot down that nuke. They're winning the land game now in terms of the incursions and getting a lot of reclaim from that. They built a donut that immediately crashed. Definitely not the best use in terms of mass, but I'm going to speed it up just a little bit because it's starting to get a little bit slow. Just a large stream of Crimson forces on that western side here for Zapad. Zapad, again, making a play for the MVP, crushing in the Navy. The middle causeway, not really the best bright sign in the universe here for Team 1. But definitely the ASF doing a great job knocking out that Tsar, and the Megalith is going after everything over here, clearing the way for Team 1's fleet to engage. We do see Sailor Moon going for the Tempest. They're trying to help in the Navy in that regard. Probably should have gone for missile ships just to, again, annoy Team 1, but I think it's a little late on that. The Megalith is going to pop on land with his cannons activated, and I'm going to slow it back down because I sped it up to 3. But pop its head out for a quick second. The Colossus go, ooh, target. And then they are, of course, going to engage that fleet with the lasers. The lasers coming into range. The Colossus moving in. And the Colossus is going to be able to sit there with the laser cannons. My lasers are better than yours, my friend. Oh, there goes one of the Neptunes, done and dusted. Now those Neptunes have to stay at range. Ooh, that's gotta hurt. The Neptunes can still sit in range and take out that Colossus. Colossus is almost down, sub 7,000 hit points. We even see some destroyers in the water that tried to hide with their submersible capable, but not really great use there, just because that Megalith puts out torpedoes like a crazy person, just constantly throws. Look at all the torpedoes from these ones, the ones outbound from the Megalith. It also has torp defense as well, so not only is this thing have the longest range in terms of land experimentals. Not only does it have some AA isn't great, but it's something. It's also has torpedoes, torpedo defense as well, and it can build stuff in terms of units with its factory hexagon egg shell thing. And it has sonar. Like, what else? What else can you want from a Megalith? It's a really good unit. Now the Tempest moving backwards, throwing it in reverse. It is essentially the Tsar on the water. Colossus is still coming into range. They're trying to come into range, but those lasers on board the Neptune's proving a little bit more annoying to deal with. And now that Tempest is online and going to force back Team 1's fleet quite heavily. Those Summit class battleships also proving annoying for those Colossus to deal with. The second one killed off. So not really a great trade here for Team 2. Team 2 losing Colossus. Team 1 has lost a couple of Neptunes. So maybe they're ground firing that Megalith. Unfortunately, I think the AoE on board that Tempest isn't as strong. That Megalith is pretty far down. Let's see, does it take any damage? No, it does not. It is that far beneath the surface, so the AoE can't reach it. Stop telling me about the mass fabs. I don't care about the mass fabs. Stop telling me about the mass fabs. I wish somebody knew of a way to get rid of that panel, because I don't need that panel. This does nothing for me. Absolutely nothing. I mean, if there was 1,000 of them, maybe it'd be entertaining, but I don't need to know how many mass fabs somebody has. I just don't need to know. And sometimes it pops up, like when I click on Sailor Moon, sometimes it pops up. I switch back to Observer. It doesn't always pop up. It does, and it annoys me. Just want to get rid of it. I don't need it. The only downside I see with going for Tempest is the fact that you can have a small channel, not really a lot of room to literally move around. And with those TMLs online here from Team 1, it's going to be very annoying to deal with, having to build TMD and shields and all that stuff. Looks like the focus is the SMD here for Team 2's Amethyst purple player of Sailor Moon, going for an Emissary. So we have a Nuke that's online and loaded. We have a Tempest, or actually 2 Tempests over here, an Emissary. So that's that SMD is going to be crucial. Team 1 has their own nuke launcher. It is the Siren variety, so it's the Liberator. They're going to liberate the lives of their opponents, I guess. And still more Neptunes being built. Still more other support crap being built. Also another Neptune over there. Team 1's, again, really focusing on Navy. The only way I think Team 2 might have a chance is just shoving it in Team 1's face with those Colossus. Team 2 is leading in terms of the experimental warfare. We have 3 land experimentals for Team 1. Team 1 also going for the Awasa bomber, so the longer this game goes on, they'll have that online.
Strategic launch
Nuke
detected.
outbound once again here from Team 2, going after this position. It might kill off a couple of chickens. Team 1 also launching a nuke, going after this position. There is no SMD here. The Omni is here. And it's the Colossus producing facility. At least, yeah, it is the only Colossus producing facility here for Team 2. They're going for chickens as well. But that Summit Fire is starting to not be in range anymore due to the Tempest pushing forward. The Megalith has done great amount of work here for Master of Seasons. That nuke does land. Kaboom! Takes out both of the chickens. Very crucially here for Team 2. That could be the shift in sending a land force to engage. And there goes that nuke for Team 1. Kaboom! Takes out everything here. That base that was attacked early by those Ilshis. That didn't really go anywhere, unfortunately. Takes out 4 mass extractors as well. Team 1 now winning the mass generation game. Team 2 was winning for a little bit. Spy planes overhead, get a nice readout. What's going on? I need to build more, thanks. What? No nuke defense. Nuke defense. Mark any nuke defense, please. Oh, okay. So just marking nuke defense. And that Megalith is able to escape somehow. I was surprised it dropped pretty low, but it is going to make it out of there, at least a little bit. There are some, there are no torps on that, those battleships. There are TMD, and they're right on the left side of it. You can see like that shot right there on the left-hand side. And that's its AA on the right as well, so. And just reusing assets, not having to build a whole new setup to just stick it on it, and it works. And also that way you can keep the same, I think it's the same stats and everything as well, so it's not, you have to like make a whole new spreadsheet for another section of a unit, essentially. Nuke almost online here for Team 2. Chicken is online, and Emissary is in the yellow. Team 1, if they can sneak a nuke in or take out the SMD, that's game for Team 2. Does Team 1 know about it? I would assume. Oh, yeah, they know about it. Oh, they just haven't pinged it yet. And does Team 2 know about what's going on over here? No, they know what the nuke is. That's really about it. Team 1, besides the nuke, isn't really going for anything super crazy. No experimentals in the water in terms of that. We do see a Colossus over here for Team 2. Very crucial, going after some mass, but we see a Horde When I say a horde, I mean it. A horde of gunships outbound here for that Colossus. No ASF production here for Team 2. And that thing is going to die on the vine. And some T3 Mechs will be killed, but they will take some T3 Mechs in favor of that Colossus. Oh, that is just devastating. Look at it, and it's gone. Does Team 2 have any gunships of their own, especially when they have ASF? No, they just have ASF. That is a lot of gunships. My thinking is they're going to get the Colossus. They're going to get the gunships and the Awasat to team up and go after that SMD. Once the SMD is down, then they'll launch the nuke, probably at the emissary. The emissary is loaded. Not loaded. It's online. The nuke is loaded, so the time is now. Team 1 only has one shield to protect it, so it's kind of devastating. But YOLO has been started by Team 1's Master of Seasons. And obviously Team 2 probably doesn't know about it. That is Team 2. Oh, sorry, that's Team 1. There, yeah, they don't know about it. Now the question is, what does the emissary target? I think the nuke is the biggest threat right now here for Team 2. Take that out. You don't know about the YOLO yet, so you can't obviously target that. But again, like I say, the longer that Team 2 has that emissary online, the better it is for them. So that nuke might go straight for that emissary. Team 2 needs to build as much shields, much T3AA, ASF, whatever, just to protect that one SMD. They need to build a secondary SMD. I don't know why they haven't yet. They're relying only on one. Definitely a danger in not having a backup. There is one over here, but its range I don't think is wide enough to cover a direct shot. No, it's not. Nuke outbound. Going from Team 2 to this position. Going after some more T3 Mechs. I was moving southward. I don't know if this is a ploy, but maybe it's going to try to drop bombs. Going after the chicken. Maybe it'll draw the ASF away. Maybe that's the idea. ASF are drawn away. There go the ASF here for Team 1. This is another air fight going on here. Team 2 sees the air fight and does not engage. Free damage onto that chicken. Kaboom! And there go. The gunships are actually right next door, too. That would have been very not good. These gunships go, yeah, I'm just going to move again. Our sub-bomber going in for this position, going after some more T3 Mechs. All of the ASF go after the bomber. It looks like that was the target after all, of course. But the huge air win here for Team 1. Team 1 will take the air win, lose the bomber. Would have actually probably been like to have it land on that side of that little mountain engagement, whatever. But those land units do leave. Team 1, it is your moment to go for it. And the nuke, unfortunately, is down. The emissary was enough to crack the shields of the one shield on board Team 1's air grid, and that is not going to go well. They won the air fight, and a lot of ASFs were killed, but Team 2 still has an air grid and a nuke and an emissary. And it just goes to show you, when you got to strike while the iron's hot, one of the hardest thing to do is figure out when that striking of the iron is important. And I think that's not game yet. Team 1 still, of course, has the YOLO that they're producing. And it is almost 50% of the way there. So there is that. This game does go a little bit over an hour. So I think the YOLO will finish. If it gets probably 3 nukes off, that's game at this point. I think if Team 1 is able to produce 3 YOLO nukes, I think that's going to be enough. And SMD is targeted here by Team 2. There's one over here. I think there's enough coverage for it. There is no. There can be a straight shot. So that is not possible to just cover with those 2 SMDs. So the SMD need to be assisted. Shields need to be assisted immediately. More P-gens are being built. The SMD almost doesn't have any shielding anymore. Not looking good here for Team 1. They had a lot going for them in the Navy. They're getting pushed back now by 3 Tempests. And it's not looking good here. Team 2 trying to turtle up as best they can. They've done a great job so far. Second emissary on the way. Already halfway done for that one. Once that one comes online, that's game. So Team 1 isn't putting a lot of effort into this. Unfortunately, it's not going to finish super quickly, so I don't know. More shields are being built to protect that SMD. They notice the threat. Their nuke is down. Their play for that SMD, that could have been game right there. You could have even fired the nuke on the way there, hoping that you would get it, especially if the... That's what I thought the YOLO was going to be. It comes in, draws the ASFs in, kills some ASFs, draw it northward, and then back southward to go after the SMD. That's what I thought was happening, but when they pulled it in a second time, I'm like, I mean, you can kill some more mass, at least at a minimum, but I don't know if that's the best idea. But I think that's just due to the fact that Team 1 wasn't scouting as much, and they didn't notice the threat of the artillery. Torp bombers here in the west going after those Vespers. We even see some Yasows in there as well, with T2 sub-hunters and T3 sub-hunters. Wait, those are T2 sub-hunters. I don't know why the Cybernets have to be different and call them sub-killers. Don't understand why. More SMGs. More shielding is being built. Again, it's very dangerous. Once this SMD goes down, there is another one back here. It is too loaded. It can cover the YOLO. And I don't know. It's a lot of things ride on that YOLO staying alive and actually getting built. I'm going to speed it up by 1. Team 2 again just pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, non-stopping with that fleet. Team 1 now going to force their way forward at least a little bit. All those Neptune being focused down by all of those sub-hunters being T3 or T2. More Torp bombers all the time here from the remaining air facilities online. YOLO almost in the green. Just needs 1,000 more to get to said green. But Team 2, that second emissary is online. It's rotating its cannon as we speak. And a third one has been started here by Sailor Moon. If Team 2 wins this, I think I'm giving it to Hannibal with the Navy. And keeping Team 1 at bay. Here come those gunships. They are inbound. One Tempest has been destroyed. And the shields are offline. Oh, there goes the SMD. There's still one right here. Oh, does Team 2... Do they know about it? Oh, no, they know about it. They can see it. They know exactly what's going on. Another SMD is going to be built immediately. But, again, you need more shields. You need more shields. Those emissary are devastating for shield capacity. There go the gunships being destroyed by those ASFs that can slow down to 1. But they killed both of the Tempests. Team 1 have a play for the Navy once again. ASFs coming in here from Master of Seasons, the remaining ASFs that he has. He did get his air grid on, at least most of it back online. And they're still going after the whalers. Team 2 doesn't care about the ASFs. They have the artillery. The ASFs, crucially, aren't even engaging the air fight. Definitely devastating. Don't really know what Team 1 is thinking. And then the Yasows actually pop out of the water to fight with their AA. Second emissary proving very, very fruitful and going after that YOLO. YOLO is in the green. 10,000 hit points, 2,000 more. No beat completed. Shields are starting to collapse around that YOLO. SMD being heavily assisted. There's also an SMD up here. Again, it can and does cover the nuke. I feel like shield production a lot more crucial here. That YOLO is Team 1's ticket to victory at this point. Does Team 2 start prepping with SMD? They have... Well, there's one right here. They have 1, 2. You need like 4. Or 4 or 5. 4 heavily assisted. 5 just to have a backup. But the shield's offline. Shields are offline. All it's going to take is 1 shot. Oh, the shields are back online. And it pops in and offline. I think there's some power management going on for Master of Seasons. Oh, right next door. Oh, the YOLO has taken a hit, but it's still fine. It is not dead yet. Shield capacity coming on. Oh, this might be it. This might be it. Oh, it's still online. Shields are popping on and off, like I said. Oh, it's not going good. Shields are back online. It is completed. The YOLO has been completed. And it's going to be heavy assistance as much as possible. All the emphasis from Team 1 needs to go on this. More shield production. More everything needs to come online. Doesn't even matter if it's Cybern, UEF, even if they had Aeon. Doesn't matter what shielding they have. They need more shielding. That third emissary is going to be very annoying. Those nukes need to be launching as quickly as possible. The shields are down. Once again, 1 shot will do it. Oh. Okay, 1 shield back online. Oh, they're popping on and off. Looks like they're actually... No, they aren't just taking shots. Oh, it's not looking good. The Yaso's still pushing on the western side. The Navy kind of just being there now. This is the action. This is where most of it is occurring. Shields, again, back on, off, on, off, on, off. Once that YOLO is dead, Team 2 wins the game. Once the emissaries are dead, Team 1 wins the game. The Navy doesn't really matter at this point. Oh, all the shields are down. All it's going to take is one shot, I think. Oh, there it is. Most shields are back online. It is tense right now. The first of the YOLO nukes is launching as we speak, going straight for those emissaries. They're not stopping. Get a nice little spread. Sir, that is a lot. Look at all of the assistance. Look at that nonsense. That is a lot. That is a lot of build support. That is a lot. Yeah, YOLO. First nuke is going to be shot down. That's not a big surprise. This one has 3 loaded. This one has 0 loaded, so they'll probably get another 2 missiles shot down or 2 nukes shot down. Another SMD going to be heavily loaded. Third emissary online. It's all a race against time. Shields are going to be the main point of focus here. We do have a land army and oh, that's it. That's game over. Even if the YOLO does launch, it needs to launch right here. There's a chicken almost dead here for Team 2. Oh, that's not good. Team 1 doesn't have any land units left remaining. Taking out all of those shields emitters. The Colossus avoiding going south with the ones that were sitting there for a long time. Nuke, outbound once again. That's the second one. Going after this position. Oh, is it going to be enough, though? The Colossus aren't really in range. There's nothing to protect it. The lonely chicken with 16,000 hit points will be the savior of the day for Team 2. That is it. Oh, Strikes takes out a pigeon. The other pigeon's going to fall. The shields have collapsed. That's it. Oh, shield back online. Blazes in the mist going after the emitters. The emitters are down. There goes the YOLO. It is done and dusted, and Team 1 has lost this game. Very, very close here for Team 1 and Team 2, but it just came down to the land. And obviously the emissaries helped a lot. And again, the emissaries really drove home the focus for Team 1 and just focusing on shields, these master seasons. Didn't build any sort of land units. And then Team 2 is like, oh yeah, we have mass to spare. We'll just funnel into the Colossus that we had for a very long time. And that is SMD is the last one existing here for Team 1. And Team 1 just recalls. They know the game's over. They don't want to spend any more time. Team 2 wins the game. They did lose a player of Alexander Berlin, but at 1 hour, 1 minute, and 21 seconds, Team 2 wins the game. And it did just come down to YOLO versus emissaries. And the emissaries, like I said, did a very, very, very good job in honing in Team 1's focus and focusing on the shields. Unfortunately, that did leave a big hole that Team 2 exploited with the Colossus and the chicken on the land side of things. Looks like one of the Colossus did get killed off in the YOLO, but still, Team 2 pulls it out. And MVP, like I said, I think it goes to Hannibal. Had that Navy collapsed, that would have been game right there, even before the emissary and the YOLO thing. And yeah, I think Hannibal deserves the victory there. He was constantly, again, he kept one player's attention. Sailor Moon obviously focused on the long-range warfare, and then the Colossus he built ages ago. I'd say not the blunder, but the very huge missed opportunity that Team 1 had to win the game was the Awasa experimental bomber and gunships that they had. Had they gone after the sole SMD, that would have been it. That would have been game. They would have taken everything out down here, and it would only been a matter of time till the rest of that Navy and whatnot collapsed. So, again, it's hard to determine when it is the time to strike, but when that air fight engaged over here, that would have been the time to bring in the gunships. Even though a lot of those gunships would have died, the SMD would have been killed off. And there was only 6 shields, so it wasn't that much to chew through. There was some AA, of course, but there also wasn't that much AA. It doesn't even look like... I mean, you had, 28 on screen. Let's kind of zoom in a little more. You had maybe 19 here for Sailor Moon, and then you had, if I find any, I don't see any T3AA. Even if it's T2, at least it was something. I don't see any. Yeah, you don't really have a lot of AA. Well, actually, you have a lot more down here, to be fair, but I think that was a lot later on. But still, there was definitely an avenue of attack, and they just didn't take it. But again, let me know down in the comments what you thought about this game. I thought it was really good. But again, that is only one man's opinion. Again, thank you so much for watching. Please like and comment down below. Please subscribe to the channel as well. And share this video with anyone, everyone, and especially, most especially, your pets. And I will see all of you in the next one.